Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, great. Rajendra?
Yes, Sujal sir. Very good evening.
Good evening. What I am doing is I am making you host also, right? Co-host.
Okay.
So you just coordinate the class. You by default you mute all. If anyone is asking any question, they will raise their hand. So
Okay then.
based on that, we'll answer.
Okay.
So
Fine.
I'm making.
So would you like me to mention the same in the chat box as well?
Normally I mention it. Normally they know. Normally students they know it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if anyone is raising their hand, so in the gap we'll let answer him.
Okay. Absolutely fine.
You are already co-host, Rajendra.
Okay. Fine.
And if anyone is having any doubt or if they are not able to communicate with this class, they can also post their question in that WhatsApp group. There also I will be answering.
ముందు కనెక్ట్ అవ్వలేదండి. రీనా వెంకటరమణయ్య.
So I'm waiting for Anirvan. So we'll wait for some more time before we start. So we can start the class. If anyone else is joining, we'll be summarizing for them because we don't have much time also. So as I was telling, if anyone is having any type of doubt, they can raise their hand. My dear friend Rajendra is there with me. So he will be taking whatever doubt are there. He will be giving you a chance to ask all those things. Rajendra, I'm sharing my screen. So whatever question is coming, you just take care of them. Just let me know.
Sure.
I am not able to share my screen also, Rajendra. Is there any restriction from your side? No.
Not at all.
Last day I could able to do. Today it's not happening. Can you see my screen, Rajendra?
No.
Video?
Video, yes, I am able to see you, but not your screen share.
Post visible participant screen sharing. How to share my screen?
Okay, so you have got a screen share option here below.
I'm doing
just
it. It is doing it. It's telling host visible participant screen sharing. Okay, we can change this.
Okay, so try changing the host privileges and then check once. I believe you have made me the main host rather the co-host, I believe.
Okay, I'll change that for the time being.
Okay. Yes.
Can you remove yourself from being host?
No, I see here actually.
Okay, I'll do it. Just give us a few minutes. We'll solve this.
Sure.
Technical issue is there.
Sure.
Because my screen sharing is important.
Okay, Sujal sir, can you please try it now once again?
I am host now. Yes.
Right now,
I can do it right now.
Exactly. Now it should be working. Absolutely, I'm able to see now.
Okay. So if any question is coming, so you can just let me know.
Definitely.
So today our topic is exposure. My screen is visible, right? Not my video.
Both of it is visible.
Okay, fine, done. So what is exposure? That we'll concentrate first. Let us say in a different way we start today. Let us say there is a musician. So what the musician is trying to achieve? It is trying to produce melodious song. Let us say there is a cook. What it is trying? It is trying to cook tasty food. So similarly, the objective of a photographer is to achieve something which is called proper exposure. What does it mean? We'll see some photos. During my last photo shoot, that was a fashion shoot, this was the photo that I got. First photo, it is very dark. So when it is dark, what we normally see? There is no light, nothing is visible. This is one situation. Then let us say we are trying to achieve something else. We get a photo like this, where there is too much light. And the third type of photo that we get normally is like this, where the light is proper. So in terms of photography, the first type of photo that we get, this type of photo, this one, not this one. This one where there is no proper light, it is called underexposed. Next, when there is too much of light, it is called overexposed. Whereas the third type of photo that we are getting, it is called a properly exposed or correctly exposed photo. So, and what is the meaning of this exposure? Exposure is nothing but the amount of light that is captured in a photo. So today's class is not about how to get a properly exposed photo, that we'll discuss separately. But the objective of today's class is you should be able to identify what is a properly exposed photo, what is overly exposed photo, and when is a photo called as underexposed. So 3 examples I have already shown you. And there will be a situation where the entire photo is not overexposed, but out of the total frame, there are few elements which are overexposed. Similarly, not the entire photo which is underexposed, but there are few elements in the photo which are underexposed. So all those types we have to identify, and this is the objective of the objective of the class. So we will see first few photos, like these are some photos downloaded from internet. See, 3 different frames are there in a single photo. In the first portion, which is written as underexposed, amount of light is less, and the third portion, which is called as overexposed, so amount of light is more, so details are washed out. And in the first portion where there is light is less, so in the dark areas those details are also lost, whereas in the mid area, which is called as correctly exposed photo, those details are intact, whether it is in the brighter area or whether it is in the darker area, but no detail is lost. So the ultimate objective of a photographer is to, first, he or she should be able to decide or identify कि this is an overexposed photo, this is an underexposed photo, and this is a correctly exposed photo. Because if he or she is not in a position to identify, then he or she will not be able to capture a properly exposed photo. Same thing we were discussing in the last assignment, that is assignment number 2. So whatever photos we got so far, very quickly we will go through all those photos. This is not opening here, like Visarjan we were discussing last day. See, everything is good about this, but there is a flare in the photo. So if we see the photo, we get mesmerized by the photo, about everything of this photo is good, about the colors, about the composition. But as a photographer, when we observe the photo, we said that this flare is getting too much of the attention. So this is clearly distraction for the viewer. Rajendra, you can mute rest of the participants. Too much sound was coming, so whoever wants to ask anything, they can just raise their hand. I will be taking the question for the timing. So whenever we're discussing till this point. So this flare we have to identify. This flare is a clear distraction for us. Until we are able to identify whatever distractions are there, we will not be in a position to get rid of all those things. So later on, during different chapter, we will discuss how to get rid of all these things, like how to control this flare and how to get rid of this. But today we will concentrate on identification, like what are the disturbing elements are there, we have to identify. So this flare is overexposed, whereas rest of the photo looks good. See this photo, it's a properly exposed photo. You see most of the things, whatever brighter areas there also we can find whatever details are there, those details are kept intact, and in the darker areas also no detail is lost. So this is an example of a properly exposed photo. See, everything is good about this photo. Composition wise, it is perfect. The way this bridge is placed, the way these boats are placed, the way reflections are captured, the way colors are used, everything is marvelous. But when we look at the sky, see, it's too bright, and whatever details are there in the sky, particularly in those white areas, everything is lost. So when I look at the photo, I get mesmerized for all this boat thing and breeze thing and color thing and water thing. But again, this sky, this white sky, it is a distraction. So first we have to identify that this is a clearly, it's a distraction, and we have to sort it out, like how to get rid of the white sky. Look at this photo, everything is perfect. It is an example of a properly exposed photo. So this should be our objective. Like no details should be lost, nothing has to be overexposed, and nothing has to be underexposed also. Everything is good about this photo. It is again another example of a properly exposed photo. Everything is fine, properly exposed photo. Again, it's properly exposed photo. Properly exposed photo. Everything is great about it. I was telling in the review also, everything is perfect about this photo. If we see the brighter area, no detail is lost. If we see the darker area, no detail is lost. This should be the objective. This should be the prime objective of the photo, to identify, yes, this is the photo, this is the correctly exposed photo. This looks very basic thing, but these basic things only makes your photo look outstanding, and it will be a key difference between lakhs of photo and your photo. Similarly, perfect example of a properly exposed photo. Again, example properly exposed photo. If we see this photo, these hill areas, if we see, details are lost. So this is example of an underexposed photo. So we have to identify this. Again, exposure wise, this photo is fine. There is nothing wrong in this photo. Great. Like this photo is there, right? So if we see the exposure level, it's marvelous. Like all the details are kept intact, colors are kept intact. So this should be the objective of a photographer, to capture a photo like this. Underexposed, particularly these boats areas, details are missing. Again, perfect example of a properly exposed photo. Again, perfect example of a properly exposed photo. Exposure wise, this photo is also fine. This particular photo in my screen, it looks a bit overexposed. Whatever subject is there, photo exposure is fine. Perfect example of a properly exposed photo. If we analyze this photo, if we look at this framing, so whatever elements are there in this photo, all those elements are perfectly exposed. There is no element in this photo which is underexposed. There is no element in the photo which is overexposed. So this is how a photo has to be. See, if we see this photo, particularly this ground area, all the details are lost because of overexposure. So this, as a photographer, we have to identify, and if we could identify it, then we will find millions of ways to sort it out or to get rid of it. Again, exposure wise, this photo is fine, but when we look at the sky, see, the sky color is white. But normally, what about the reality? If we look at the sky, it is not white, it is blue. So the details in the sky, all those details are lost. So we can call this photo as overexposed. Again, the subject and the element that is there, in terms of that, this photo is properly exposed. So we can see that this photo is dark, but what is our subject? So if we think about the subject and the objective of this photo, so if we analyze this photo based on that, the exposure is fine. Again, example of a perfectly exposed photo. Example of a perfect exposed photo, if we consider only the flowers, but when we look at the sky, again, all the details are lost. Again, example of a perfectly exposed photo. This is how a photo has to be. Two subjects are there, mother and the child. See, most of the time exposure is fine, but see the center portion of the screen, it's too white. So if we look at this photo, so basically at the first glance, this white portion only we are looking. Gradually we are dispersing into this face of the mother and the face of the child. So this white portion is clearly a distraction. So this we have to identify and we have to sort it out. So again, we can say that this photo is overexposed, and as I was telling earlier, it may happen that in the entire frame, there are certain elements which are overexposed. So in this case, the center portion which is overexposed, and we have to get rid of it. We'll learn how to get rid of it later on in some other chapters. Again, exposure wise, this photo looks to be fine. Perfectly exposed photo, no complaint about the exposure. Exposure wise, this photo is also fine. Perfectly exposed photo. Again, this photo also exposure looks very nice. Exposure is fine. Exposure wise, this photo is also fine. This is also fine. Perfectly exposed photo. Again, same exposure wise, this photo is also fine. Perfectly exposed photo. This photo is also overexposed. Like this flower, if you see, clearly it has become white, so details are lost. Similarly, top left corner, if we see, it's too white and it's a distraction. And again, it has to be called as overexposed photo. Exposure wise, this photo looks fine. See, look at the sky. It is not white. It is that blue tint is there, means details are not lost. So this is how a photo has to be. Look a bit overexposed, fine. So this is how we have to identify the photo. This is the only objective we have. So as I told you just at the beginning, how to get a properly exposed photo, that is not the objective of the class. The only objective of this class was to identify between a properly exposed photo and underexposed photo and an overexposed photo. And I think with this discussion, at least you have become conscious about the process. There is something called overexposed, there is something called underexposed, and we have to identify it. So the assignment is very simple. Everyone has to post 3 photos, preferably of a single subject or of the same subject. Whatever method you can apply, you apply. Whether you can switch on the light, you can switch off your light, you can take photo in the clear daylight, but you have to take photo of the same subject in a way so that you get a proper exposure of the subject, then you get a underexposure of the subject, and then you get overexposure of the subject. That is a small assignment we are having. You send the assignment to the mail that I have already declared. I will also post in the group. Some example I will show, like how the assignment has to be sent. This is some assignment that was sent in the previous batch, like batch 1. So these leaves are there. So in the middle portion, example of a proper exposed photo, upper portion is underexposed and the lower portion is overexposed. So similar way, it need not be a collage. You can send 3 different photos, but those photos need to be with 3 different type of photo, like under, over, and proper exposed. This is one more example. Photos sent by previous batch. This is also one more example, and this is the last example. So this is the small discussion we had. It was very difficult for me to type all these things in that group. So this was all from my side. Now, if any doubt is there, if you want to ask something, I'm open to that. Anyone want to ask anything, they can raise their hand. I'll take question from your side. Prisha, you can unmute yourself.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible. You can ask even in Bengali or Hindi, even Telugu also is fine for me.
I'll talk in English only, sir. So I had a doubt was that this was with regards to rule of thirds. So, sir, you said that anything in the center of the grid is not correct because then our focus and attention doesn't go to the center. It'll go to the center. I mean, we'll be very confused. But let's say if we do bird photography and if we find a bird, let's say a bulbul, and we want to take a bulbul's photo, but the bulbul is exactly in the center and it's flying about, so you don't know when it will stop there or not. So if I take the photo and the bulbul comes in the center, so it will still be considered a bad photo, because I have had experiences in my photos where I've had clicked a bird and it's in the exact center.
Prisha, your question is very much clear to me. Unfortunately, what I want to say is that no piece of art can be created with the help of a ruler or measurement tape, right? So it is completely with the discretion of the photographer to compose the way he or she wants to compose the photo. But let us say if we have to discuss, it is always the feeling that you get when you see a subject off center is much more expressive than when the subject is placed right in the center. Unfortunately, here what the subject that we are discussing, it's a bird. So obviously that bird is not going to wait for you in those golden points to be clicked. So it is going to fly here and there, and it is the responsibility of the photographer to capture it. So when the subject and when the expression and other things, if those things are overflowing, if those things are strong enough, so where you are positioning the subject, it hardly matters. But at the same time, it is also true that if you can manage to capture the bulbul at those golden points, then whatever viewing experience the viewer will have will be excellent. But the first objective is not to miss the bulbul, right? In the process of trying to capture the bulbul at those golden points, you might miss the bulbul at all. So that is not accepted. So first you capture it. But if you are getting a chance, you try to capture the bulbul on those golden points. Is it clear, Prisha?
Yes, sir, it is clear. It's clear. Thank you.
Fine, fine. And whatever Prisha was asking, I will add more to this. If you see photos, particularly posted in the social media nowadays, particularly of type fashion photography and other thing, fashion photography, product photography, in majority of those things, photographers, they don't really follow rule of third. Fashion photography, particularly if you see nowadays model, they are posing right in front of the middle. So it's fine. There are some rules, you can follow it. If you want to follow, you can follow it. If you don't want to follow, that is also fine. As long as the viewer or the viewing experience is fine, or the art that you are creating is something new, is something precious, which is arousing the feeling of the viewer, everything is acceptable. But in general practice, you should decide where you are going to place the subject. If the situation is something like that, you don't know what is rule of third, and everything you are placing right in the center, then that is something different. Like there is something called informed choice and there is something called indifference. You don't know, you are ignorant, so that is wrong. First you know, first you decide, and it is your decision whether you are going to place the subject right in the middle or right at those golden points. So you have to decide. Anyone else other than Prisha? Prisha, once your question is answered, you can lower your hand. So our class Vinay. Vinay, you may unmute yourself.
Yeah, Sujal, you said something like a breathing space. Can you please elaborate on that a bit?
Breathing pace, most probably it will be the next class for us.
Okay.
So, and it is very difficult for me to make you understand today also because time is less.
Okay.
We are using some free version. So it is having a time limit of only 40 minutes. So we have to
Okay.
finish it off. Don't worry about it. It
Yeah.
will be probably the next class because it is very important thing. And until we know that the photo that we are composing will not be that much evocative. So we'll very soon arrange a class on breathing space.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Lower your hand, please, Vinay. Someone else, if anyone else is going to ask. So if no further question is there, we'll just hang up. Or we have just another 5 minutes if anyone want to ask anything. Okay, fine then. Chat me if something is there. Can you please open the example photos that you are showing, because seeing the thumbnails only, it is hard to understand. Is it something like that? Like whatever photos I have shown you, are those photos were not visible? Anirban, you just unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, Sujal.
Yeah, Anirban.
Yeah, I have posted that text earlier in the meeting when you are showing those thumbnails of your example photos. No,
Okay.
that time I have posted it. It is
Okay.
fine. We have
Yeah.
shown the full
Yes.
photos and I have clearly understood the class. It's okay.
Oh, fine. Done then, done.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Fine. It is because of Anirban request only. My video I have enabled today. So we'll hang up. We'll just post this assignment on the group. I am also very new to this Zoom platform. So there may be some technical glitch while arranging the Zoom classes and other thing. Gradually we'll be improving on this. And there is a program called Photo 365, which says taking a good photo is a matter of sadhana and you cannot achieve it overnight. So keep clicking your photos every now and then and send your best photos to the email ID that I have already shared with you, and try to achieve something like 250 photos or 300 photos in a year. If you follow the courseware and if you are disciplined enough to take few photos per day, then whatever photos you are creating over a period of 1 year or so, those photos will be automatically good. So develop that habit. If any difficulties are there, any creative clarification is required, any technical clarification are required, I am here for you. Just let me know. Keep creating. Goodbye, good night. I'll post the assignment in the group. Bye then. See you soon. Good night.